Hey, hey, hey. Welcome back to the Turing Test Podcast, episode 37. I'm Jamie, your favorite tech enthusiast, and with me is Rachel, who thinks she knows more than me about everything.
Oh, please, Jamie. We all know I'm the brains behind this operation. But anyway, today we're diving into AI and the Internet of Things, the stuff that's supposed to make our world smarter and more connected. Or as I like to call it, the stuff that makes Jamie's head spin.
Yeah, keep dreaming, Rachel. So let's get into it. AI and IoT, right? It's like the ultimate tech power couple. But is it really all it's cracked up to be? I mean, sure, we've got smart fridges and like those creepy doorbells that watch your every move, but are we really moving towards a smarter world or just a more paranoid one?
Well, Jamie, I think it's a bit of both. I mean, on one hand, you've got these amazing innovations that make life easier, like who doesn't love a thermostat that learns your schedule? But on the other hand, there's the whole privacy issue. It's like, do we really want our devices knowing more about us than our best friends do?
Exactly. And speaking of privacy, did you hear about that recent data breach with those smart home devices? It's like every time we turn around, there's another story about hackers getting into our stuff. It's kind of terrifying, right?
Yeah, it is. But, it's not just about the breaches. It's also about how these companies use our data. I mean, do we really trust them to handle it responsibly? Or are they just like selling it to the highest bidder?
Oh, totally. And let's not forget about the whole surveillance aspect. It's like we're living in a Black Mirror episode, where everything's watching us and we're just like, okay with it?
Yeah, it's a bit dystopian, isn't it? But I mean, there are benefits too. Like, think about healthcare. AI and IoT can revolutionize how we monitor patients and manage chronic diseases. That's huge.
True. But then there's the whole job thing. I mean, are we just automating ourselves out of work? Like, what's going to happen when AI and IoT take over all the jobs? Are we all just going to sit around and binge watch Netflix all day?
Oh, Jamie, you mean like you do now? But seriously, it's a valid concern. Automation is definitely changing the job landscape, but it also creates new opportunities. We just have to adapt and learn new skills.
Speaking of learning new skills, by the way, before we continue, just a quick shout out to Augmented AI, the producer of the Turing Test podcast. They host a variety of cutting-edge courses in generative AI, large language models, edge AI, robotics, and computer vision. You can get a free generative AI course at bit.ly/Turing Test podcast or go to www.augmentedstartups.com. Seriously, check it out.
Back to our debate. I think the key is balance. We need to embrace the tech, but also be cautious about how we implement it. It's not just about having smart devices. It's about using them smartly.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But what about the ethical side of things? Like, who's responsible when AI makes a mistake? Is it the developer, the company, or the AI itself?
That's a tough one. I mean, AI is only as good as the data it's trained on, right? So if there's bias in the data, there's going to be bias in the AI. It's a huge responsibility for developers to ensure their systems are fair and unbiased.
And speaking of bias, there's also the issue of accessibility. Are we just creating a digital divide where only the wealthy can afford these smart devices? What happens to the rest of us?
That's a great point, Jamie. We need to make sure that these technologies are accessible to everyone, not just a select few. Otherwise, we're just widening the gap between the haves and the have-nots.
Exactly. And let's not forget about the environmental impact. I mean, all these devices require energy and resources. Are we just trading one problem for another?
Yeah, sustainability is definitely a concern. But, there are efforts to make IoT devices more energy efficient. It's all about finding that balance between innovation and responsibility.
So, Rachel, what do you think the future holds for AI and IoT? Are we heading towards a utopia or a dystopia?
Honestly, I think it's a bit of both. It's up to us to shape the future we want. We need to be proactive in addressing the challenges and harnessing the potential of these technologies for good.
I guess you're right. It's all about finding that sweet spot. Anyway, we're almost out of time, but before we go, Rachel, any final thoughts?
Just a reminder to our listeners to check out Augmented AI University to upgrade your skills and become an AI expert fast. Go to bit.ly/Turing Test podcast to enroll in your free cutting-edge AI course at augmentedstartups.com. See you next time.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Catch you on the next episode of the Turing Test Podcast, which will be on AI and big data. Stay curious and stay connected.